Hi, historians. We're in chapter 5 now, the spirit of independence. A quick recap. North America now is totally in the hands of Great Britain. They're masters of North America. They should be celebrating. But no sooner did they win this victory over the French in the French and Indian War than they were thrown into turmoil with the colonists. The colonists wanted to expand over the Appalachian Mountains into this newly won land from the French. And the British couldn't have that because the dangers of Indian uprisings. They didn't have the forces to protect the colonists at this time. So they issued the Proclamation of 1763, prohibiting settlers from moving west of the Appalachian Mountains. Greatly angered the colonists, especially those on the frontier. And then to add insult to injury, they wanted the colonists to pay for their fair share of the war with France, the French and Indian War. So they increased taxes, and by the standards of that time, there was a pretty fair tax. But the Americans were tired of it. They were tired of being dictated to by the British. Now, this was a time of needed diplomacy where you can talk through your problems with the opposition rather than come to blows with the opposition. And the British were used to having their subjects follow their directives. They were not used to an insolent bunch of children telling the great King of Britain what to do. So in chapter 5.2, Uniting the Colonies, this was a period of British taxation and American resistance to those taxes, protesting those taxes. Their main object of protest was the boycott, when the people refused to use the goods and services of Great Britain. They use boycotts even today for causes. Animal rights activists boycott products that contain animal products or companies that use animal experimentation. They boycott those products. And if the boycott is successful, companies change their policies. And the boycotts were successful in Great Britain because Britain repealed many of the taxes that they had instituted on the colonists because they were ineffective. Colonists weren't using their products. Colonists were getting angrier. So that was 5.2. But in 5.3, things changed from protesting to violence. People started dying on both sides. 5 colonists shot and killed in the Boston Harbor, called the Boston Massacre. Then later, April 19th, 1775, fighting actually begins on the fields of Lexington and Concord when the British marched to retrieve weapons that were supposedly stored in Concord, Massachusetts. Very bloody affair. The next month, in May, just outside of Boston, the Battle of Bunker Hill. Over 1,000 British soldiers killed or wounded while taking Bunker Hill and Breeds Hill. So the war in April and May had already begun. Now next week we were just going to watch a couple of videos to further understand the conflicts between Great Britain and the colonies. It'll all culminate with the Declaration of Independence, which you've already studied when we did Celebrate Freedom Week. On Wednesday, there is no school, so you can catch up on past work or complete future work if you so desire. If you have any questions, message me. We'll talk. Have a great week, folks. Thanks.